uncle. See the amount of divestment when we see a one white necks and private sectors that are take over. This governmental system only create the prostitutes and robbers and thieves. The amount of factories. You hear me, uncle? See the amount of divestment when we see a one white necks and private sectors that are take over. This governmental system only create the prostitutes and robbers and thieves. The amount of factories when we see closed down the other day. And people without jobs and wicked salaries. Why? Worries and problems. Ghetto youths are working hard to survive. Politicians still coming with bribe. But then the youths are holding on. Worries and problems. Ghetto youths are working hard to survive. But politicians still coming with bribe. But then the youths are holding on. Hey, why? As far as my eyes can see, the silence is in devastation. And only thing that they can do is try to convince this nation. So them come around town to town taking enumeration just to call them election. And the dates that they move to IMF organization leave us in desolation. Hey, and our worries and problems. That's Ghetto youths are working hard to survive. But then the system is just giving a fight. But all the youths are holding on. Our worries and problems. Then the youths are working hard to survive. But then the system is just giving a fight. Ghetto youths are holding on. Oh Lord, the city is congested with robbers and thieves. And so many homeless kids got nowhere to sleep. Yes, I also see them eating out of rubbish heaps. And cocaine and smugglers keep on roaming the streets. Why? And our worries and problems. I get to youths I work hard to survive. But then the system keep on giving a fight. But get to youths are rolling on. Our worries and problems. Can get to youths now get no blind. Give the youth a try. Hey, I'm telling you now, see the youths are today. Give the youth a try. Trust me. And when Babylon set a system where youths can't get no work, so that's why I know them turn to the gun and prostitution. So that's why I know I am. Yo, we see the youths them a hold on strong. We see the youths them a hold on strong. We see the youths them a hold on. Boy, cause the worries and problems. Got the youths a work hard to survive. But then the system keep giving a fight. And I see, oh Lord, well, as far as my eyes can see, the silence is in devastation. And only thing that they can do is try to convince this nation. So them come around every day, I take them numeration to call them next election. And the debts that they move to IMF organization leave us in desolation. And I see worries and problems. Forget the youths are still holding on strong. They stick to the right, not the wrong. I love how them go along. Worries and problems. Get the youths are still getting a fight. But them holding on strong to the slave. Terrible in a diggity and but I rather die as a brave. When you see the battle, you have to go over evil. And the devil me I trample. a praise. Lenten out I days, I and I gaze. Now I bring the fire start to blaze. I won't be no slave, no. I'd rather bury in my grave, why? Rather die as a brave for liberty. Hey, terrible, in a diggity and the time.
Now this is an anthem.
Run the tune, mister, run the tune.
I won't be no slave, no. I'd rather bury in my grave, why? Rather die as a brave for liberty. Hey, terrible, in a diggity and but I and I now be them slave.
Pull up this song now, pull up this song now, pull up this song now.
I won't be no slave, no.
No, bro.
I won't be no slave, no. I'd rather bury in my grave, why? I won't be no slave, no. I'd rather bury in my grave, why? Rather die as a brave for liberty. Hey, terrible, in a diggity and but I and I now be them slave. Terrible, in a diggity and but I and I rather die as a brave. When you see the battle, you have to good over evil. And the devil me a trample, evil get dismantled. And I see me a praise. Lenten out I days, I and I gaze. Now I bring the fire start to blaze. Eden start to rage, turn another page. I see the wise builders house on the rocks, while the fool builders on the sinking sand. Terrible, in a diggity and but I and I now be them slave. Terrible, in a diggity and but I and I rather die as a brave. Never be them slave, rather bury in my grave. I rather die as a brave for the freedom of my people. See ya, 1,000 million died in fight for freedom, and they still would like to kill 1,000 more. We've been enemies of our own for too long, my people. If we don't centralize this victory can be won. So I know it a got terrible in a diggity and but I and I now be them slave. It a got terrible in a diggity and but I and I rather die as a brave. Hey, we've been used, abused and brutalized for centuries ago. We work on their sugar plantation for so long. They should pay us all our salaries for labors we have done. Until then, they have paid no fun. So I know, terrible, in a diggity and but I and I now be them slave. It a got terrible, in a diggity and but I.
Yes, greetings. Simplicity, where I check something. Yeah, I mean, some people are ball, but we no holler. Yeah, simplicity. Check. Reflection, things and times. We there with you.
That's where she wanna be now, yeah.
she wanna be with me. She wanna love her from Monday to Sunday. I don't love her till I that's how she wanna be with me. But I will satisfy your heart with a score bound goal. The ultimate goal is not to lose control. When me pushing the mic, you understand all the rhythm, it's a roll like a rolling wave. Sweeter and sweeter. Closer, closer to me. That's where she wanna be now, yeah. And she said closer, closer to me. That's where she wanna be now, yeah.
When I look into your eyes, you make me realize spice, you're the only rest of man me wanting all my life. Baby, hold me in your arms and keep me safe and warm. You got me going crazy by your kisses and your charms. So baby, come here and let's turn off the lights. Beautiful brown skin just brighten up the night. Oh, let's make love tonight. It's like I never get enough of your kissing and your touch. Every time you're making love, you give me more than just enough. You're a blessing from above, it's you I only love. So baby, hold me close and never let me go, 'cause I need you in my life, baby. I wanna be your wife.
It's 1 o'clock, 2 and 3 o'clock, me and mine. When it comes to your loving, me not never sign. Hey, and me on the ride.
Say 4 o'clock, 5 and 6, you're there on my mind. So anytime you call, I'll be there on the line. Oh, I'm always in time. Closer, closer.
That's where she wanna be now, yeah. Closer, closer. That's where she wanna be now, yeah. Closer, closer to me. That's how she wanna be now, yeah. She wanna love her from Monday to Sunday. I do her love her, she don't wanna push over. That's how she wants to be now, yeah. She wanna love her from Monday to Sunday. I do her love her, she don't wanna push over. That's how she wanna be now, yeah.
So much love.
Yes, simplicity. I tell you. Come again.
Night to turn today, and lots of people would run away. Night to turn today, you don't see them astray. All at once, people are changing all the time, just acting strange. Everywhere, people are changing all the time, they just acting strange. A lot of people fighting for the world power. Who is God that's saving the ark built by Noah? See they greedy, asking for more. What about the 110 gave to the poor? Planning on the war, now the deal gets sour. As the youths a fight over island flower. Oh, they just make a different decision. See them just a fight over different religion. When it's only Emperor Selassie gotta save the day, yes.
Well, the judge will make the people jump and shout out the people all at once. People are changing all the time, just acting strange. Everywhere, people are changing all the time. They just acting strange. Everybody bawling, crying for peace, wondering now when this world war will cease. The only little chance we have was the UN. True disobedient, now everything bend. Forget banana, play the waffle strip down clean. All baby feet I go to extreme machine. I wonder what about the 3-6 class? Yeah. If it's a weeping and it's a wailing, and if it's a gnashing of teeth, that's soon after teeth, all the government, all the meat, all at once. People are changing all the time. I'm just acting strange. Everywhere, people are changing all the time. Them just acting strange. Oh, na na na, yeah. La 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 la. If night would turn today, a lot of people they run away. If night would turn today, you'll see never stray. Yeah. What about life? What about love? What about the people? What about the deaf? What about the dumb? What about the blind? What about me? What about you? What about the youth who face it out there in the struggle? Yeah, yeah. All they ask for is love, sweet love. Show some care, show some passion. All at once, people are changing. All at once, start acting strange. All at once, people are changing. All at once, start acting strange. Yes, there's the Lord and the fullness of them that dwell therein. Everybody knows all those who mix up and mingle and sin. Oh, na na na, yeah. I was a freedom for the youth now. And every people. Oh, na na. Na 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 na. All at once. People are changing. All at once.
Yes, people are changing, yes. And today, we lost a life. And today, a young man was shot dead by police officers here in England, you know. An African, Caribbean, British, black young man. It's a beautiful thing when we reflect on life. Huh? Life, that sweet thing that we all have. And we need to try to sustain it as long as we can, but in the best way possible. Because as we as Muslims say, and the whole world's supposed to say this, and pastors teach the children them and teach their congregation that there's one sure thing in this journey we call life. It's death. One sure thing. I mean, it's 1,000,000% proof that all of us will die. You know? And we love people, we cherish people, especially family, relatives. So we definitely, with our emotions and nature, will miss them, you know, and we will grieve for those individuals. But why is it that we are always being killed? Young man gets shot by police. Shot dead, you know. And then when you check the country as a whole, and not new, it's just that it don't reach headline news constantly or regularly. So them just darken the shade of that by saying that we kill each other. It's very sad. All this tune here. And many of us wanna say God and all of that. When we reach a stage where we're critically ill, hospitalized or otherwise, or we lost somebody close to us, girlfriend, wife, boyfriend, rare. I was something we call on God. We think God. We feel that our life should be cut short too. So that soul, that breath that was breathed into us to give us life, whether you believe it or not, or whether you agree with it or not, don't you see how it does come to bump? There's so much realities in our being as human beings, but we become so dismissive. We become so dismissive, I tell you, until that time. And it's short, that time. You know what I mean? We start saying, Lord have mercy. You know? And we want the trophy then. We want, yo, after this, have a realization of these things early in our being so we can live life, exercise life, experience freedom. And taste free. And we African people in the diaspora, we're in a terrible place. Not England, a terrible place. Terrible social, mental place. And Charles know this. The royal family know this. All of them know this. Them put we through it. And they haven't apologized to us. And they haven't release our records to us so we know what our ancestors' names were. At least their names are where they actually was taken from off the continent. But now I know Elizabeth. I know Elizabeth before Elizabeth got sick. I know Elizabeth lineage. I knew of Elizabeth ancestries. I know of Elizabeth mother. I know Elizabeth's sister. I know Elizabeth. I know her name, her names, but I don't know mine. I don't know my mother's name, neither my father, my grandfather, or my grandmother's. Can you imagine? And now we're in mourning for Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth. I tell you, and you see the gratitude of us, you're going to see a whole heap of that now across the whole of the diaspora, the whole Caribbean nation, the whole of Africa. And we are the people that's being victims of British colonial institutions. Let that be understood.
Oh, Sometime my way gets a little rough, but he'll give you strength. Carry the load. God will make a way. Ooh, God will make a way. That he will. Wanna say it, wanna say it, wanna say it. Now, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh,
See? And it's very true, because so we stay. So we understand how to pray. Wait for other people to come tell we, this is the way you do it. We know how to do it. We knew. But many of us got confused are led and confused by the colonial past. And then we measure our opportunities and our progress by their standards, which is actually called assimilating. Yeah. So the new government has come, and the new government was sworn in. Watch this wicked. And Her Majesty was smiling. And she gave the transition to 3 females in her reign. Enough things has happened in her period of time. And now Her Majesty is gone to join the others. And the others mean all those who have passed naturally. Which we all will be there. There's not one of us is going to be left out. We all be there. Some people that say, there where? That's not to be determined by us. We work hard with the hope that we will have everlasting life due to the good things that we have done in this journey. That's what we pray for. But we also acknowledge the Almighty. There's no 2 ways that we have disconnected ourselves from that realization that there's a creator. So some of you must have said, like, where must about this transition? Yeah, the transition. The new government came, isn't it? Everybody know that and witnessed that. And recognize that the new prime minister had to go and see Her Majesty. and be accepted. And then to be told to go back to London and swear in or choose our government. That's tradition. What I'm reflecting upon is that all these things happen before the Almighty close her eyes, stop her breath. And we all are witnesses. There's not one of us in this life that haven't witnessed that. So, if I had my way, I would say, come tomorrow, we should be in Brixton getting some answers as to why that young man was shot dead. Why? An unarmed, unharmed, no GBH young person have left this life because of people them who have accessibility to arms. Because you have that, that don't mean say you must pull trigger. And since you're so well trained, how is it that you never shoot arms and shoot feet? Why every time you shoot, it's said that you have shot somebody, it's always a death shot. I mean, it begs to differ. Why? Why when I deal with death shot? People are well trained. You all are well trained. Nobody not say when I don't get trained, when I get trained and trained. And you deal with safety measures. Disarming measures. And yet still, when it comes to black people, African Caribbean people, dark-skinned people, melanated people, all the training goes out the window. Not training again. When I just know I said this is where we head is. And then when I tell a bag of lie, that when I feel threatened, feel nervous. So when I had to take the gun and aim the barrel to the head and then pull the trigger and see the person's skull, the bullet penetrate it and take the person out. Because when I don't know, I said that's what's going to happen. We've never heard when I graze somebody it. And you're so well trained that you could shoot an arm. I could shoot a foot. And I know where to maim people. But when it comes to people of color, it's death. How come we don't have inquiries to find out why these things has happened and are continue to happen? So much years ago, them do the same thing with a man in a acne, and that was a white man. Sugar happy police. Want to hear the gun, want to feel the gun. A human being this, you know. So instead of them go outside in some forest or something, I'll go back on the range and keep practicing. Huh? The man had a table leg or a chair foot in him and a carpenter or something, so him not attack them or anybody. And they weren't even called for nothing, you know. Them just a cruise through the area. And them just take set upon a man, take out for them gun and aim it at the man and kill him. Kill him. And it was made to feel say that, yo, if we never did this, huh? Life for black people, African Caribbean people. So I'm saying all of that to say that we will wash all of those things aside and we will mourn Queen Elizabeth in England, in Africa, and all across the Caribbean, all across this earth. We, the children of the slaves. We will do that. Because we have humane qualities and dignity, just like other human beings should have. But the other human beings that don't look like us, y'all are rogues, drinkers of blood, with no apologies. So let me get back now to things and times. We want to play about 5 minutes of this educational symposium for black boys. Come.
People in the black or Latino communities who recognize that we stop what we're doing, we focus resources, we take action. This is not a new crisis. Many of us know this has been around for a very long time. One of the reasons why I'm an expert on it is simply because I've been studying this and working on this for a very long time. And any problem that's around for a very long time is no longer a crisis. If you meet someone who's in permanent crisis, you got to stop saying that person's in crisis, right? That's their condition. It's a chronically debilitating condition in our communities, the status of black males. And the fact that there isn't an urgent response tells you a lot about the nature of the problem at hand. Because to a large degree, America doesn't see this as an American problem, it sees this as a black problem or a Latin problem. Now, the fact that we have a diverse crowd shows you that it's not merely people in the black or Latino communities who recognize this as a huge problem, but we've got to face facts that if we don't have policymakers who are willing to not just come out when there's a killing caught on film, but who are willing to sustain their attention on this issue, and not just policymakers, but business leaders who are willing to also take action, then not much is going to change. We can celebrate the successes of urban prep, and we should, but we have to keep in mind the big picture. The big picture is even as we celebrate urban prep, we know that dropout rates for black males across the country in every major large urban district are over 50%. And we know that suspension and expulsion rates are higher for black and Latino males than for any other group, that so are special ed placements. Test scores are lower. That is, in every category we associate with success academically for black males especially, black males are underrepresented. And in every category we associate with success, they're overrepresented. It's a dire situation. It's a dire situation because we know that what happens in school mirrors what happens in adulthood. That is, those we don't serve well in school, those who are more likely to drop out and not go to college, are also less likely to be employed. more likely to be incarcerated, and more likely to die young. We have a serious problem on our hands. Black males in this country are the only segment of the society, of U.S. population, that has a declining life expectancy. Every other group is living longer, black males living shorter. Black males actually save the country money when it comes to Social Security because don't live long enough on average to collect Social Security. So the problems that we're talking about facing young men are also problems that face older men. And what's important that we acknowledge is that we don't have clarity on why. Because the problems are not merely in education. They show up in employment, they show up in criminal justice, they show up in health, they show up in a broad array of statistics that look more like a syndrome than a particular crisis that you could put your hands on and say, well, if we just did more of this, we could solve it. Simplistic thinking is not going to help us figure out how to approach it. We don't know what there is about being black and male in America that results in large numbers of black males being at risk. There's a lot of confusion out there. There are some who think, well, the problem is really black men themselves. And there are lots of people who we have respected who think this. I was in a debate not long ago with Bill Cosby. He's one of them. And he has said repeatedly he thinks the problem is black family. The problem is that black males don't pull their pants up, that they idolize thug life, thug culture. Juan Williams, noted black journalist, said pretty much the same thing. Alvin Poussant, a well-respected black psychologist, co-wrote a book with Bill Cosby saying effectively the same thing, that something is wrong. There are these self-destructive tendencies among black men that are contributing to this problem. If you locate the problem there, you're going to pursue one course of action. You're going to do like Bill Cosby and just continue to admonish, blame parents, perhaps. But there's not a whole lot more you can do, because if black males are destroying themselves, then the rest of us can basically say, well, they need to stop. Everybody else is off the hook. Now, there's obviously some element of truth there. There's a reason why black males are more likely to be murdered than any other group in this country, and it's not the Klan that's killing black males. It's other black males. And so to some degree, there are self-destructive tendencies that we've got to get a handle on. When you see the video of the young black man who was murdered in front of his school, who's there shooting? Who's involved in this melee? It's other black males. So there is something going on, and that's another part we don't know. We don't understand what masculinity has to do with it. And that, I would say, is a critical issue. Because if you look at it in terms of masculinity and not just in terms of race, what you start to realize is that we have a problem with men that cuts across race. Because right now, in every state in the country, there are more women than men in college. That's not just true for black men, it's true for white men. True for Latinos, true with everybody except for Asians. So maybe there's something about men that's a problem. If there's something about masculinity that's at stake here, then maybe with the way we raise boys, the way we socialize boys might also be implicated in this. And that's the reason why I say there's a lot of confusion out there. Because some people say, well, what boys need to do is man up. Toughen up. And I would say that part of the problem is that we expect too many boys to become men way too soon.
That's very, very, very true. And then if you ask a person to give you the definition of this manning up person that they're speaking of, them can't really define it.
George Bernard Shaw writes about the meeting of the cardinals and bishops and priests to congratulate Joan of Arc after she has been elevated to sainthood. 30 minutes to burn her, 400 years to recognize her as a saint. And when the time comes for Joan to speak, she looks at all of them and says, "Can you unburn me?" That must be a central question. And that's the question that leads to a serious conversation about reparations.
See, so they want me to go asleep and forget these things. You understand? We must go asleep and forget that our ancestors were brutalized, lynched, raised and earned millions, billions of pounds and dollars, and carry names belonging to other people. No, where we come from after being so long in the diasporas. But just know, say, at a continent called Africa. Have no connection and love of the land and moral and ethical touches with any other human beings on that continent. Yet still that's where we come from. And we have more legitimacy than people in Europe that call themselves Bunny Israel. Could you imagine? And they make the whole world believe, say that they are Bunny Israel. And even Muslims give them the props. I tell you. And these Muslims supposed to be well educated and them know, and they've read so much of the literature of the Prophet and the Sahabis. So you see, racism is a serious thing, you know. Very serious. It goes right across the board, religion, everything. Especially when you're a Habashi, when you're Bilalian. Yes. When you have this black melanated skin, may I tell you, man. Hey. So we have to wake up. Wake up.
My heart is filled with grief when I remember, how they've taken our forbearance from their own land. Yes, shipped to every corner of this earth, boy, bound in shackles and chains like their beasts. Yes, they would be spanked with many stripes by the master, boy, if they should ever not.
Even Elizabeth, she makes sure that her ancestors them was big up. And what may I say really? Them get broad in Australia. Them get broad in New Zealand. Them even get millions and millions of pounds. And them get broad in Palestine. She was honored and welcomed in Ethiopia. And it begs the question that I keep asking. How is this possible that England was involved in the coronation in Ethiopia of the Lion of Judah? A serious question. How did it happen? When I start war, how did it happen? That George was there. All of them was there, you know. Huh? The Lion of Judah. And eventually we gave up, or Africa gave up the Lion of Judah for King James. A strange thing. Very strange. The Lion of Judah. And then a mythology was put out there. So people them look upon the Lion of Judah with that mythology and not the true reality. The Lion of the tribe of Judah. Huh? I should know then that they are the ancestors of Jacob, who had 12 sons, became the 12th tribe of himself. Because it's not a place called Israel. There was never a place called Israel. Now, Elizabeth have gone, you know, and Elizabeth can't make the truth be known. So now we hope so that Charles, being a man, he will give us, the Africans, some truth. But what did they do? Them show with the position. When him come, what is to be taken? Them show with the bull at the Commonwealth Games. And those of you who read the Bible inside out, upside down, and jump all around with these pastors, you will know so that strike Babylon and that also strike Egypt. A symbol. But many of you may not be told by your pastor them symbolism, what they mean. And many of you may not even have or heard of the metaphysics. And some of you have heard, just like people heard of the Maccabee, and I'm going to look for a book and never realize it's a tribe, but there's also this book that was meant, should have been part of what them call the Bible and blah, blah, blah. So I'm saying all of that to say, well, many of us get little snippets here and there, and yet still we don't have that key word called institutions. And we feel that the colonial bosses, ministers, governments should teach us. Because they have been teaching us. But we expect them to inform us about ourselves and our ancestors' history when they don't even tell us exactly where they took us from. But they can take other people from among them and dispatch them other places and show the world a reality that they have created. Because all those thieves and robbers and murderers, they are Australia, them show you success from that. They don't tell you how them do it, how them put them there and everything. And then New Zealand and Papua New Guinea and all these different places. You understand? So that makes us servitude no matter which way we look and how much cheek we think we have to turn the other cheek and say, God forgive them for they know not what they have done. Hey, what kind of nonsense is that? Them know what they're doing and they've done it very well. Because Australia is meant to be one of the first world nations. And it has a very strong back military power by the international friends, America, Canada, England, and France. Now this place called Israel, them have the same. Because they were awarded the nuclear understanding and energy that was there in South Africa. Because there was no way they were going to hand over the leadership of South Africa when the white apartheid system had nuclear power. But they never give the gold that belonged to the land, the riches, back to the Africans. They allowed the Boers to maintain that and ship the nuclear reactors and the nuclear skills and scientists and everything to this place called, that they want the world to accept and have been accepted, Israel. Now, black people, African people in the diaspora, the homework needs to be done correctly. And we need to approach the United Nations and any court in this earth that would pay attention to us. We need to follow Al-Haji Melik al-Shabazz, Malcolm X strategy. We need to go in the United Nations. Forget Barbados and all these people that gone up there are sing Bob Marley's song. That is amusement and a real thing. It's an artificial orgasm. Yeah, you know, sometimes you want a woman and she know you want her. And she play you. And you get highly aroused, you know. And she don't even give you a kiss. Let you kiss her. So it's an artificial orgasm. And little more, some people that are evilous, them turn around and rape the woman. You understand? Yes. Because them so high. Them not going to accept the artificial. And one thing needs to another. And then them go to court and said, yes, she played me. And them ask the question, did she say yes? And you not hear nothing about no, hey, you not deal with no alphabet. No yes, no no, and not. But the law, the new feminist business, them say, did you hear yes? So then you said no. So they say, oh, so you heard no, right? And your no that you heard meant yes to you. So that man, they get trapped. Him can't turn around and say like me, she played me with an artificial orgasm. See? And that's how we been played. For centuries. Them play with their emotion and them take people just like us. And they never tell us that they're talking for us, you know, but them go in front of these colonial bosses and speak on our behalf to which we never elect them to do. That's play. Barbados say they want to get rid of the legalities of Her Majesty Elizabeth. But Barbados never tell the people that they must have a referendum, or they never tell the people say where them going to get financial assistance and how they're going to control the economy and control the state. And what are the protective measures? Huh? Security systems. Nobody never hear nothing like that. People just get excited with the fact. Even me, come and say, yo, that's nice. But if you don't have the details and you don't know about the longevity, then you're not really supporting the people. You're a dictator. And it's not because the pessimism is against being independent, but there are questions to be asked and answered because you represent the people. But you seem to be representing a system, not the people. You represent a system. Yes. Can you remember? It's only a piece of rock. It's only a piece of rock. And God forbid, in the hurricane season, one come rapid and lick the island. And let me wait and see if it's the CARICOM that is going to be aiding and supporting, or if it is the International Monetary Fund that you're going to have to make phone call and beg them to send some aid. At what expense? See? So it's all about being collective. So anybody who think they are anybody, come show me, are the Muslims, one leader in this earth that can stand in the shadow of Muhammad. When I talk Elijah Muhammad, we talk Muhammad of Al-Islam. Show us a human being on this earth that can stand in the shadow, walk in the shadow, or walk side by side with Muhammad. There's none. Not one. And when I talk about ethnic origin, we talk about sincereness. We talk about nation building. We talk about humanitarian justice. Yeah. Him exemplified. You see that comforter? And Muhammad the comforter. People need to ask themselves a question, you know. How long when I got continue to deal with a non-entity and represent it until you reach their grave? There's so much mythology that black people, African people has been fed. And then some of us are so bright to say, yo, I know his name was Yeshua. I know his name was Isa. So then I would say, if you know that, what was his teaching? Where is his Injil? So them take the Injil. There's no Injil. There are people who are speaking on his behalf or about him, which we will call Hadith and Al-Islam. And those people don't tell us that there were 1 and 2 persons present when a question was asked, or an answer was given, or a statement was made by whoever. In Al-Islam, that's the chronology of Hadith. And we have weak ones and we have very strong ones. Why? Because those weak ones, it doesn't refer to ex-persons or ex-person who had a discussion among themselves and they left and went and sit in a circle where the Prophet was, speaking to other people, and waited their turn and asked the question or present themselves and that which was bothering them or they were discussing. So it was said that Odemeyer and Saleh were discussing Jesus or whatever. Huh? And them asked the Prophet, peace and blessing upon him, what is the lineage of this person, or what is the reaction or the skills, or whatever it is, what's the welfare of the service? What should we do? And then you would hear that the Prophet, peace and blessing upon him, responded to Salih and such by saying, with the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, such and such. You know, I get that from these people concerning Isa alayhi salam, the Christ. You get Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and Paul. And a lot of our people are going to their graves following that suit, which is paganism put together with some other things and some other things. And basically to wipe out the genealogy of African people, dealing or having a mission or duty in relation to God. And we all as human beings have that, you know. There's no nation that God haven't spoken to. And there's no nation on this earth that God never give instructions to. And aid and support and continue to do so. So what is it about black people or African people that the rest of these people don't like? What's with the intolerance and the moral victimization and that which we call racial bigotry? What's with that? Are people who want superiority. Them long time know them mother and father. The long time them know that. But it grieves them to think that they come out of this darkness. How stupid are you? Huh? And nightfall come. When night come, what happened to him? What, you just abuse God when night come? So when death catch you now, and you have to go down inside the earth, which earth you look for? White earth? You must go inside there and have a war with all the insects them. And just tell them, say, watch out. Me not like you, you know. Me must prefer a white ant and a white worm. And ray. You see how idiotic that is? So we African people in the diaspora, we must ignore these people, man, and move on and do our thing. Concentrate on our journey and our development. And train and develop our children with that same mindset. It's called preserving and developing self-love and harmony among us, among ourselves. And you see how quick all this nonsense about a head being a notch, this, that, and killing one another. You see how quick that thing would have go back where it come from. Because I come to England and it was all about love, it's all about harmony among ourselves. It wasn't about no war. It wasn't about no killing. And not that we never fight. Not that we never fight, but it's fisticuff and headbutt and, hey yo, the kicks come when Kung Fu came. And a more white boy we I see kick people, kick one another. When them down on the floor, then they stamp on them, kick them, steel toe cap them and everything. That's why we was able to box so well, because we just fight proper. Yeah. And many times we run away from ourselves because we don't know, say we get battered. So we run away, man. Coward dog keep old bone, and there's always another day. You understand? Yeah. And many of our neighbors stop them thing there before them show an ugly face. And that was here in England, you know. So we need the dignity. We need to research ourselves. And then allow me to go pressurize King Charles that's coming. And let him understand so that we know enough about him. Yeah, man. Know enough about him. And try get make him realize so that human excellence is what we work for. And them grandmother, grandfather, Lord Mountbatten, all of them, huh? They need to come now and apologize for all of their actions. And put the tape, hey yo, lay a new table out there. Cause him go hand over to his son. So it's we who have to understand transition and get ourselves in order. In order. Now you got new police commander-in-chief. And now we have the shooting. Right it. So nothing going to change, you know. Everything will remain the same. And it's for us to bring about change. Serious thing. It's for us to understand England and stop saying that we live here and we want to watch football and the rest of it that's so old now want to maintain cricket heritage. All that nonsense. We have to wake up. Let's be independently minded. Build communities, orchestrate those areas that we are big numbers. Release ourselves from being consumers. Speak to one another on a day-by-day basis. Find out if we're safe, if we're secured. How's our children? Make our areas them clean. Have some dignity with it for ourselves. Don't look for it from other people. It must come from ourselves. Police our emotions and straighten up our children. Let them know it's school they must go and why they're going to school and how they must develop a character within that school environment. And when they're going there and when they leave there, dignified for us. We're not doing them things there. We're not doing those things. So we're falling short and we're suffering by our own neglectfulness. I'm saying that. Yeah. So Sugar Miner, come give me a cappella.
When you take the lead, make sure you can maintain it. Oh gosh, race rough, old veteran. Watch out, man. Watch it, sprinter stay. I am a sprinter, stay a long distance runner. So why nobody try test me? Sprinter stay a long distance runner. So nobody try test me. Watch it. I can lead and hold on or come from the middle of the pack, or even make a move from the back. Watch it. Like a champion house, bubbling on the track. I'm giving everything I've got. No make sense you jump up front if you can't hold on. Up man coming from the back and then kicking up a storm. Looking over your shoulders, the crowd is on your heel. You're running out of stamina, it start to reveal. You shouldn't test the champion, now you're eating dirt. I'm gonna show you up for what you really worth. Watch it. Sprinters stay a long distance runner. So why nobody try test me? Say I'm a sprinter, stay a long distance runner. So why nobody try test me? Yes, sprinter, stay a longer distance runner. Can't test me, no way. Watch it. When you take the lead, make sure you can maintain it. Oh gosh, don't be a early pace setter. Don't run out of stamina. Hey. Watch it. Sometimes I lead, sometimes I run on. All depends on how things are going. Watch it. Some get left in at the gate, so you know them have to wait. If you win this race, you can't start too late. If you try anything that look kind of funny, you know they'll have to have an inquiry. Watch your man, move out of me way when me reach Kakana, me go show you how me stay. I'm a sprinter, stay a long distance runner. Why nobody try test me? I am a sprinter, stay a long distance runner. So nobody try test me. Why I go weep when them watch it replay? The champion and runner in the rock up now play. If I batch you a use, it just can't work. Bad ride you a bad ride, it just can't work. Dope up you dope up, that can't help you. Just surrender, I would advise you. Watch it. I'm a sprinter, stay a long distance runner. So why nobody try test me? Sprinter, stay a long distance runner. So why nobody try test me? I can leave.
This is a very hard ears young man, you know. Hard ears, you hear me? Yeah, he thinks he can disturb me. Hard ears. Guidance, we're gone, big youth.
Give praises to his majesty. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord God, Jah Rastafari is my refuge and my fortress, my giant in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snares of the fowl and from the nice and pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shall thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the horror that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shall thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angel charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against the stone. Thou shalt tread upon the young lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shall thou trample under your feet. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me and I will answer him. I will be with him in the time of trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. The Lord Jah Rastafari is my light and my salvation, of whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life, of whom shall I be afraid? Cause when the wicked, evil, mine enemies and my foes came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumble and fall. No one else shall encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. No war shall rise up against me, in this will I be confident. One thing have I desire of the Lord God, Jah Rastafari, and that will I seek God, that I may dwell in the house of Jah all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of Jah, to inquire in his temple. Because in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret places of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock, and now shall my head be lifted up above my enemies round and about me. I will sing yea, and I will sing praises unto Jah. Hear, O Lord, when I cry with my voice, have mercy also upon me and answer me. For when thou say seek thy face, my heart said unto thee, thy face Jah will I seek. Put not thy servant away in anger, leave me not, neither forsake me, O Jah of my salvation. For when my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take I up. Teach me thy way, O Jah, and lead me in a plain path because of my enemies. Cause false witnesses is risen up against me, and such as breathe out cruelties. I fainted unless I believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on Jah, and be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I see on Jah, Lord, Selah, Jah Jah.
Hey, I just remember Queen Victoria. You know. All Victoria no sign nothing for us. I made it plain. Huh? And who is Queen Charlotte? You understand? Hey, listen here. people them seriously dangerous, you know. But them are represent themselves. And they're representing them nation. Yeah? And I'm going on this way and I'm still thinking that them supposed to, I would have loved to, I would have liked to think that them do something for us. You understand? And it's never happened. Victoria not do it. You understand? George not do it. Edward would have do it, but they not like Edward going with him thing and like some American girl and and everything. Yeah. You understand? So, and I'm saying that, you know, because he was a wayward person, you know what I mean? Him not to hold on to the establishment, something. You understand? So nobody could tell him, say, who for like and who not for like and who for go with and everything. So the likelihood he would have turned around and say, see them Caribbean, West Indian people, them, make them go back to Africa if they want to go on back. You understand? And make some ship them stay there and everything. And he would have forced Lord Mountbatten hand to deal with that, you know. I think so myself. Because you have to read about them people there, some of them. You understand? So, Elizabeth stayed there long and I done nothing for it. And now Charles, older than me. That's it. Right? So what am I going to do for it? Am I already at the agenda? You understand? And him had a beautiful wife. And him get some children. Yeah, Charles. See it? So, in him 5 years, we don't want to know, say that him just love reparation for swing. Because if it go to the next, to him youth, that now work, you know. A new day and time. A new day and time, may I tell you. So, I pray that him come and write upon his agenda, him see that it is a good thing to give reparation to the Africans. So we not talk reparation money, no. We talk reparation, repatriation. We talk identification of ourselves. Yes, when them do them something there, the books are open. You see, like we want the book of the 7 seals they have, and we already have that in Al-Islam. So him can open up the book of slavery. Yes. And just low it. So Muslims lean on Charles, you know, and make him know that we know, say, a lot of him friends, them are Muslim. And reason with him and show him what life is all about. And definitely he's rational. All of us are. And what death is all about. You understand? Because he's human. In this time of grief, after the 10 days, 15 days, let us be the first lot in 6 months to reach him. Reach him and get to his faculties. I met him come to Africa about Commonwealth money and this and that, and then him run with this new prime minister to Saudi and all them. No. That be the same old. And we don't know that already. Let's clip that wing for a new day. I want to talk about repatriation, reparation, and the acknowledgement that we know and he knows, and the whole of records knows, that they took us from that continent called Africa, and they dispatch us all across the Western world. Yeah. And we want to hear something like, we apologize. I apologize on behalf of my ancestors, and I apologize on behalf of my families. Yeah, man, that'd be a beautiful thing. Oh, you mean? Beautiful. So we are going. And he speaks like that, you know.
Oh, yeah.
See, things in times. We make a dua for the Queen. See? Yeah, Elizabeth. Go on, my sister. Yeah. We're bright, you know. See? This is standing up. This is not the regular prostration and everything. You understand? This is a dua. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive her faults. Yeah. And bless her family and the nation while they mourn the loss of Elizabeth. Salam alaikum. We're gone, man. We're sensitive. We're humans. What? Yeah, Marcia, what you say? Marcia tell me, say, beat down a chona. Yeah. Marcia getting married. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lord, for this moment, oh yeah. Thank you, Lord, for this feeling that I possess.
Don't want me too insensitive. Guidance, we're gone. You know, we keep remembering the fact that Kennedy was assassinated, and all our brother said is that which was put out there has come home. And because of the backing and the permission was given by the federal authorities, and, you know, Elijah Muhammad say that Malcolm have to sit down, and then bar him from speaking and going out in the public. Because the permission that was granted by the state and its administration, he never want to violate. So it was violated, and him just show them, say, watch out, I still have control, so this is what I'm going to do. So Malcolm lose him life. After him turn around and said that him feel say that him can better represent the Nation of Islam from where the position where him have than from within. So them know I say that this guy make other people them say, yo, they may have kicked him out, but him still there. And reality check, if there was 10 persons, 8 of those persons are going to be, all 10 of them is going to adhere to Malcolm X. So the state say, yo, and I don't understand the terminology that is used. He's bright. You can't allow him to coexist with you. So now when him make it known the title of the organization, and that the organization is open to all forms of people. So you don't have to say that you're a Nation of Islam and everything. And that he will work with anybody who want black liberation. Yes. Now, work that out. It's not to the Caucasian and all who oppose Oscar. We have a lot of people who oppose ourselves. That was dangerous talk. And fact that him come back from Africa also, he's been to Africa and visit so many presidents. And him get support from the Middle East. And him had Middle East envoys and everything. When you hear about Menachem Shaba's assassination, know that the envoys them from the Middle East